Welcome to the podcast from Doug Ground Up Productions with hosts Lady Miz and Ray. This is a universal platform, and there is nothing off limits. We talk about it all, and we keep it real. This is a no judgment zone, so come as you are. If you are a professional, entertainer, author, comedian, entrepreneur, or just someone who wants to get something off their chest, well, let your voice be heard here on From the Ground Up Productions. Sponsorship and other opportunities are available from the Ground Up Productions. Turning nothing into something. There's only one way to go from here. And now, here are your hosts, Lady Miz and Ray.
What's up, y'all? You know what this is. This is Lady Miz from the Ground Up Productions. There's only one way to go from here. Today, I've been waiting on this interview for a very long time. We have DJ Shaka T that is going to be coming on, and he is the owner of Upscale Security School. He's going to be breaking down everything you need to know about security, about safety, about owning a permit, the whole 9 yards. So without further ado, let's bring on the one and only DJ Shaka T.
Hey, what's happening, my friend? Oh my God,
Oh my God. Well, listen. Like I said before, right? I'm very, very happy to have you coming back onto the show. I know you're a friend to the show before. You've been on here. You do so much more. You're not just, entrepreneur and a security that do security. You also is into the promoting and the music industry as well. So we're going to tap into all of that. But before we get started, I would like you to go ahead and to share with us your background. You know, your background and the things that you've done that led up to you doing training in security.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. So the first thing was, if we're going to go back to the name Shaka T, before I got that name, I used to be called Grand Master T. I just generated this name because I wanted to be a grand master in DJing. You know what I mean? So first name I generated was Grandmaster T. I grew up in Spanish Harlem. Grew up on the east side, 122nd, 121st, between 1st and Palladino. Half there, and then the other half was in Brooklyn and Starrett City on 1310 Pennsylvania Avenue. My high school that I went to was Norman Thomas. So that's, I started small in my projects doing what we were talking about before, block parties. And I remember back in the days with the block parties and stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely.
So I never actually did them, but I always used to be behind the rope. I used to help the DJs carry their crates, and I just used to sit there and just master what they were doing, even using my hands and gestures, spinning back on the turntables, SLB 101s and all that, just watching, and then eventually I went to my dad, said, listen, I don't want no bike. I don't want no this. I want turntables and a mixer is what I want for Christmas.
Okay.
So, yeah. So forget about the bikes and the big wheels and all that other stuff. That's what I wanted. So I got it, and then I didn't have any speakers. As dad, I need speakers, but listen, I can't afford no speakers. So I used to plug my mom's little brown speakers from her set to plug in there to get some sound, and everything. And then eventually I really got good with it. And then in my high school that I went to, Norman Thomas, we were the only high school in the state that had DJ equipment inside the lunchroom. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th period, I had 4th period, and other DJs in there had 6th period, 7th period. And one of the DJs then before he started rapping was Kumo D. Okay. Yeah. Kumo D used to be spinning in there. And then we had this guy named Kid Flash. Kid Flash used to also be in it. So, we were rocking it. We had this guy named Will. I don't know if you know Will. Will used to be the hype man with KRS-One. Right.
I don't remember Will. You remember Will?
Yeah, used to be with Will on his shows back then where he was also in school with us. So we used to keep it going. And then, I just really got into it. Then I started connecting with people. Super Rocket, Mr. Magic, DJ Red Alert, my man from Video Music Box, Ralph McDaniels. That was all back in the days with those things there that, we had, back to old school DJs back there. Grand Wizard Theodore, Grandmaster Flash, Kool Herc, all those guys. We're going back to the days with that. Africa Bambaataa over in Bronx River, and all that stuff, So, but I used to just go to these events, just to watch and see what's going on. After I started getting really good with it, and I got out of high school, my dad gave me an option. He says, "You're not going to be a DJ. That's not going to happen. You ain't being a DJ. You're either going to college, you're going to the military, or you're going to some type of law enforcement. That's the options that you're going to do. There is no other options."
So you telling me you didn't make no decisions for yourself?
In the beginning, I stalled it for a little bit. I stalled it. So I got me a little job to keep my dad off my back, and everything. And then I said, what are you doing? And I kept seeing these little signs. It was these companies used to call Epic Security, Effective Security, and it was another mom and pop shop security company back then. And which was crazy is that right out of high school, I got overnights. It was a friend of mine that went to school with me that was like some type of security manager. So I realized that I wasn't making no money with the DJing because I was more of just hanging out. So I wasn't getting paid. So I wasn't getting no money. And my dad was like, "You're not going to keep going to these parties, and you need to start working so you can get your own money." So I got this job. What's really crazy about it is the first security job that I got, I was working for a company called Effective Security, and I was working in One World Trade Center on the 7th floor. Okay. Yeah. So, I used to go down there, park down there 11 to 7. And back then I was young, but at that time, that's when minimum wage was $3.35 an hour. Okay. Yeah, that's how far back I'm.
Oh, you going back. This is a throwback.
I'm showing my age.
This is a throwback.
I'm showing my age right now, Yeah,
what?
$3.35 an hour was the minimum wage back then. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where I'm going back. And then at that job, I was making more. I was making something like $6.75, $7 an hour because it was night differential. Then my dad says, all right, you're getting your feet wet with the security thing. That's cool. That's okay. And then after that, I started putting in. So I put an application for NYPD. I put an application for the New York State Department of Corrections. I put an application for New York City Department of Corrections. So the first agency that called me that took my application to the New York State Department of Corrections. So that's where I went with. I did 26 and a half years with them. I did adolescent units. I was in charge of the adolescents, the real deal, right? The real deal.
Okay. All right.
So I did, So I started with that, and then I did part-time at Job Corps, like we talked about before. I was a pretty much a training. I started as security, then I became a sergeant at Delaware Valley Job Corps. And then, as I was there, somehow I realized these skills I had. Because what happened was when the students were coming up from the city, the people that lived out in Callicoon and PA area didn't understand the security. Didn't understand the students or should I say residents from New York. They were afraid of it. When they would come up to, these wild kids, they're nuts, they're crazy. No, they're not. They're not nuts and crazy. Okay. It's a little more freedom-wise up there. There's no country setting in New York City. Mm-hmm. So when they come up here, they're like, where's the people? Where's the sirens? Where's the this? You know what I mean? It's all quiet. Right. And then I realized I started even somehow I was triggered to the students that were coming up that were problem people in the city. All it was about, as soon as they got there, as soon as they did something wrong, they wanted to terminate them, put them back to the streets. Mm-hmm. So I used to be, then I got part of the, how can I call it? When they got in trouble, the delinquent side of it, of the ones that are the bad kids, as they call it. So they created a special program for people after school, after Job Corps. You have to go do hours. If you did something wrong, you had to do community service, sweep the facility, work in the cafeteria, whatever it is. So I used to talk to them like, listen, where are you from? I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Queens. I'm from Manhattan. What you come up here to do? can you get my GED, man? I said, first of all, drop the man and the this and that. I said, listen, you got it. This is your last shot. I said, I checked your background. You got a couple of misdemeanors. You got a couple. This is your last stop, man. I looked at your paperwork. You were ordered here. So you didn't come here on your own. You were ordered by the judge, which means your next stop from here is up top. If that's where you want to go, you ready for that? And they're like, no, Sarge, no, Sarge. And then, eventually I was able to save a few. And I remember one time I went to one of the graduations when they graduate, the diploma, your trade and all of that stuff. And it was 2 young ladies and 2 guys. They were the worst, fighting every other day and this and this and that and everything. And they got their GD together. And then I said, you know what? A trade was available. I said, what kind of security trade? I never heard of a security trade. So I used to go down and just check it out and see what they're doing there. I said, wow, I kind of like this, and everything. So the guy eventually retired. So I went to the center director. I said, what are the requirements to become a security instructor, to teach the kids how to get their security license? He says, well, you got to take this, you got to take that. So I'll follow suit on it. And I called some of my guys in Doc up in Albany. This is all, please, you got the waiver because you're already in law enforcement, but you just have to take this class to become an instructor.
Okay.
So I said, okay. So I said, all right. So I went and took the class and everything. And then my boss, which was a chief of security at Job Corps, he got upset with me because I transferred over to become a security training instructor for the students at Job Corps. Okay. So I did that at part-time. And so I left out of that. And so I still did with Doc, but that was my part-time job. Okay. I did that. I did that 3 days a week. And then,
so that's how you basically got started into the security.
Yes. Yeah. And it's the security training.
Security training. Yes. Okay.
And then I was there for about maybe about 10 years. And then what happened was I was like, listen, I want to do this outside of here because I can teach people, how to do this. So what happened was the license that I had was my license, but the school was inside Job Corps. So what I used to do is I used to rent out in Monticello. I used to rent out a community center to do the classes. And then there was another security company that was up here that blew the whistle on me. I didn't know what it meant. And he called the state and said, hey, there's a guy here, an instructor up in Callicoon, but he's teaching classes in Monticello. He can't do that. But the guy that gave me my license, he was a retired correctional officer. So he called me up. He says, listen, I need you to come up to Albany. I says, okay. So I come up there. He goes, let me ask you a question. He goes, I says, yes. He goes, are you doing training classes in Monticello? I says, yeah, I usually run into things. He goes, you can't do that. I says, why not? He goes, because you don't have a school. I says, but I'm at the school. He said, yeah, but that's a federal property. Nobody could come onto the property. I says, I didn't know that. I says, the license is in my name. I thought I could take my school and go anywhere I want. This is my license. He goes, correct. You have the security license to train for the state, but you don't have a school. Ooh. Yeah. Ooh. So I'm like, he said, but you know what? He says, I'll tell you what to do. He goes, you're doing it part-time. He says, here's what you do. This is what like you're doing. He says, but you got to get your own school. I says, how do I do that? He says, you got to get a storefront and get something. He goes, but since you're not a big giant school, he goes, go to one of those volunteer places up there where you live. An ambulance court, volunteer ambulance court building, or fire department that you can rent off the space per day, per time that you go. Because what are you doing on the weekends? Because you're working DOC, right? I said, yeah. He said, so it's not going to be worth it for you to get a school and a front that you're not only there once or twice a week. So I said, okay, all right. And then so I got into that. So after that, I got that connected. Then I started doing the trainings locally. I started off slowly teaching people, security license, the New York State.
So I have a question. So he said that you had to have your own spot, but you didn't so what did you start doing? Leasing time from somebody else's spot? Like, how did that actually, because I didn't make the connection there.
So instead of me getting a storefront or business or a building, you were approved to do something by a volunteer organization, like your volunteer fire departments, your volunteer ambulance court building. They all have community centers inside of them.
Okay.
So I used to rent those out on Saturdays or Fridays.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
Okay.
and then
All
I had
right.
to do a curriculum, which means I had to do the square footage. I had to make sure that the facility had a handicap accessible, male and female bathroom, chairs and tables, screen projector. I had to have all of that. So I had to submit all of that stuff to the state, and they approved it. So then now when I'm there, the ambulance court building became my training school when I'm there.
Got it. Okay. Ooh, okay. Stopping in gyms.
Yeah.
Like that
gym. So I had to, instead of, because I didn't do it full time. I was with DLC. So I don't have it full time. If I had it full time, then I could get my own building or own space or rent something. So I will only rent when it's time for me to do a class.
Got you. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's good. All right. So I have a lot of questions for you, but being though we kind of spoke a little bit before this, you did tell me that a lot has changed. Now I want to be very clear that first, let me just say that shout out to those in Job Corps. I was one of them kids that went to Job Corps. I was a troubled youth kid, right? So I was in Oneonta. I got kicked out of there.
Okay.
I went to Albany. Listen, but I want to say if Job Corps is still out there and it still exists, I just want to tell, like, if you're a parent that's listening to this that has a troubled teen, or if you are a young adult that can still get into Job Corps and in the right age requirement, it is a beautiful place to go to really get yourself together, because they offer so much there. And if you go there and you're serious about really changing and doing something with your life, Job Corps is a phenomenal place. I look back and I really wish that I did the right thing when I was in there, because I actually was doing well. It's just that I got caught up in a lot of stuff with the wrong people, and I was one of the wrong people, right? So what happened ended up happening, and I ended up getting kicked out. But then I went to Albany, and I didn't like it, so I left. But when I look back, like I said, it is it's a great place. It really is for somebody out there. You're getting meals, you're getting education, you're getting a place to stay, you get a trade. Like, it's so much there.
And you get paid to be there.
Bingo. That's what they don't even know. You better get your coin while you're there. That's right. Yes. So, the other thing is, of course, I have some questions here from other people as well. I'm going to go through some of my questions. Some of them might not be relevant, or some of them I might not even touch, being that things are different. But so what I'm going to say here is this: to anybody watching, I took your class.
Yes.
Right. I thank you. I have my pistol permit, a license to carry.
Very nice.
I know that things are different now. So can you please, because I want to jump right into that, right? Because I know that people are going to be looking like, okay, there's a lot of people struggling in certain areas to get it. So let's first start with, let's talk about the transition, right? Because I had to take the class. I needed a certificate. I had to wait. I had to go see the judge. It was a lot. Take us to what the process is now.
Okay. Things has totally changed, and it's changed since the beginning of the middle of this year. Kathy Kirby, the governor, changed it, which actually she changed it for the better. Because prior to this, I just want to touch up on that for a second, and I'll go back. Wait a minute. The key point is, years ago, all you need to get a pistol permit, all you need to do was a 4-hour class, license application, get fingerprinted, get a reason why you should have it, and you got your permit, and you're out and you're gone. But here's what happens with that is that, where were you trained to shoot a firearm? Where were you trained to know the laws, unless you went to Pacific schools like my trade, when I taught you guys? I gave you the laws. Not knocking any other school back then, but it was only 4 hours. They put a screen up, show you how to dismantle a firearm, how to put it together, how to do this and how to do that. Okay, take this test. Here's your certificate. You're out the door. Now, where were you trained to know that you can't, there's no such thing as self-defense law in the state of New York? You never was trained any of that. So if somebody actually got a permit and thought that if someone intruded into their home, that they can go to the threat, no, they're thinking, oh, I got my pistol permit, somebody break into my house, I'm shooting their behinds. That's not, you can't do that. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. So
that's why I'm glad to have you here, because I need to know.
yeah. So that's how that was back then, and it still didn't change. The only thing changed now going to current, is they changed it from 4 hours to 18 hours. So, which is a good thing, because with the training now, you do a bit, maybe I want to say about 6 hours, 7 hours of in-house training, paperwork, learning the laws of the state of New York, what you can do, what you cannot do. And then the last part is you go to the range now.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's included now.
Yes, this is included.
Is included in the 18 hours.
Yes, going into the range, and you have to qualify to shoot. You don't have to be a marksman, you have to be a sharpshooter, but you need to know that if you're shooting your sidearm, you're not shooting over the target and hitting grandma on the building across the street.
What makes a person qualified to shoot?
Okay, so we give you a basic target area to shoot at. Very simple. You got to shoot between the square lines. You have to bring your own ammunition. Depending on who gives you the training, some places require 250 rounds of ammunition. Some places requires 300 rounds. Some places will cost you a little bit more, but they will supply you with the ammunition, because it's hard now. They have to supply it to you, because you cannot buy ammunition anymore unless you have a pistol permit, and you have to go through a background now just to buy ammunition.
Yes, I went through that, by the way, when I went to purchase my pistol, and it was I thought that I was just going to go, hey, I got my permit, let me get the gun license, no, it was not like that. We waited, and sometimes it could be, I had to come back like another day, because they're like, sometimes it goes through the
delay. It's called a delay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And then we're wondering, like, hey, what's the holdup? I already did the class. You see?
Yeah.
So why? What is the purpose of that? Do you know, like, why people have to go through all of that?
The delay or the process of the new training?
Both. Give me both.
Okay. So let's go with the process of the new training. Again, like I said, I was deaf at first. I was like, wait a minute, why do we got an 18? But when I thought about it and I looked at the curriculum of it, it's amazing, because it's saving so many people from going to jail. Because this stuff that they're teaching now, I was teaching that back when you were in my class. You remember? I was teaching you about you can't take your gun to the threat. You have to retreat. We was doing that before they even started this.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people used to come. They say, yo, man, go to T, man. Oh, I know. I went to the guy, blah, 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 over here. We were done in 3.5 hours. And there's no way you should be done in 3.5 hours. There's no way. Okay? Because first of all, we got to go through the rules and regulations of learning how to use the permit. Okay? Knowing how to do it. Okay? Then understanding the laws of New York. Okay? You cannot take, if somebody in your residence, okay, this is something very important. I hope everybody's listening to. You have a pistol permit, amazing. But understanding, if someone breaks into your house, you cannot go to the threat with your sidearm. You cannot. Somebody breaks into you, you got to upstairs, downstairs. Let me go get mine. Like you see in the movies, that's all the myth. You cannot take your gun to the threat, because if something transpires where you have to use your sidearm, now there goes the intent. You intend to shoot the person. How did you intend to shoot them? Because you came to the threat with your sidearm.
Okay.
The threat must come to you. Sad to say it, but the threat must come to you. So, an example, the proper law to be: someone breaks into your house, you hear it, you are a licensed firearm owner, you must immediately contact 911. And tell 911, I'm a licensed firearm owner. Someone just appears to be broken into my residence. I heard the window shatter, I heard the window break. This is okay. Stay on the line with us. Are you at blah, 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 blah? Yes, we have police en route. No sirens. Now follow my directions. You need to say nice and loud, I'm a licensed firearm owner. Please get out of my house. Repeatedly. Because now what's happening? 911 is recording everything that is happening. Okay, and they're going to tell you to stay upstairs, stay with your family, stay upstairs. Okay, repeat it. Whoever is downstairs, Please leave my house. I'm a licensed firearm owner. Please leave. It's recorded. The person says, go F yourself, that whatever it is. Now, the thing is, remember, you have to retreat. You can't retreat from the second floor. What are you going to do? Take your kids and jump out the window? Not going to happen. But if that threat comes to you, that's all she wrote. Now, people don't understand. You can't be shooting people in the head. You can't be shooting people in the back. The concept of the law is center mass to the chest, 2 to the chest. That is all you need. Because if you shoot a person 2 to the chest, that shows you intending to stop the threat, not intending to kill the person.
Now, I got a question for you real quick. What if a family member is in the same area?
Okay, what do you mean by that? Refresh.
Like, well, what if, like, okay, the person comes in the house, they break in the house, you're not close, but let's say your child is, and they're attempting to harm your child or your spouse or your family, any other family member. What if that is the situation? Is it still the same laws and guidelines? Because now somebody else is in harm's way.
Okay, so now my question to you is, where is your sidearm?
Let's say it's in the safe.
So you mean to go get it, able to go get it and then come back? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
If they're not in harm's way, if there's no weapon displayed or anything like that, you cannot do anything but dial 911.
Okay. Because
there's no weapon involved. There's no knife, there's no gun, there's no machete, any. Now you got to remember something. Anything can be transpired as a weapon. $1.29 pen can be transferred into a weapon. It's how you use it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's one of the things I like people to really understand when you get yourself a firearm. It is just as easy as you can get it. It's as easy you can lose it. It's as easy you can go to jail. Don't think that's a get out of jail free license, because it's not.
Absolutely. And that's another reason, to be honest with you, why I also wanted to bring you back on the show, because like for me, I want to make sure that I am also doing everything the right way and staying
correct.
And to be honest, like, look, you could do a lot of classes, but at the end of the day, too, sometimes you might forget something, right?
Yeah,
you got to keep re-educating yourself and staying fresh as to what is going on so that you don't lose it or make any mistakes,
Correct.
So that's why I've been like you got to come on here,
Right.
Also, things are different in different states. So I'm sorry, but yeah, I just wanted to
No, that's fine. It's just that the biggest fact, the toughest state is us. New York is the toughest state because they made the laws a little bit tougher. So now, before, you didn't need a pistol permit to go into Walmart in Pennsylvania and buy yourself many boxes of bullets as you want, or go to any store. Now it's crazy because you got a background, you got a pistol permit, but you still need another background to buy ammunition now. So it is what it is. But it, again, as I said, it's the law. So you gotta apply by the law. People think that, oh, if a person run up on me, I'm gonna pull out my weapon. You cannot do that. You must retreat first. And if
go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I don't. I need you to give your information. My questions, I got them.
So the thing is, people need to understand the word retreat. Okay, in Pennsylvania, the next state over, they don't have retreat. They call something called the Castle Doctrine Stand Your Ground Law, which means you don't have to retreat.
So that's the whole state of Pennsylvania.
Whole state of Pennsylvania.
Okay, because I have some questions from Philadelphia too, that we'll get into. But
that's fine.
Okay.
I told everybody, if you go to PA, whatever it is, it's cross the line, $6 to get your non-res pistol permit for PA. And in PA, you can open carry or conceal. Open carry, you can walk around like you're in the OK Corral.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So that's good to know.
Yeah, you can have it as long as it's just kind of like New York. If there's a place, but Pennsylvania is a gun-toting state, so you're not going to see too many places saying no weapons allowed in here. You're going to see places guns are welcome.
Okay.
Guns are welcome. I was going to Maryland on a training, and the lady that was in, I went to the Wawa 2:00 in the morning. And asked the guy, said, "Can you make me a turkey, this and that?" I said, "Sure, no problem." She turns to go makes a sandwich. She couldn't have been no more than 24. She had a 357 on her hip working in Wawa. In Wawa. Because again, Pennsylvania's an open carry state.
Okay.
You know?
I got a question. We talking about a lot of stuff with inside the home, right? So is it safer to own a weapon outside than in your home?
Okay, far as carrying on you?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is just that, people do the wrong. Let me just charge my phone. I mean,
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
One of the things is, a lot of people don't understand, and a few friends has called me and got into a little bit of a pickle, but they got out of it. One of the things is when they tell you that your weapon must be concealed, is a reason for it to be classified as concealed. So that means if you're carrying a sidearm on you in the state of New York, it's called concealed. That means no one should be able to see it.
Okay.
You should not have on a shirt with with a print of a firearm sticking out of your shirt. That is not classified as concealed.
Got you. Okay, concealed. That there's no way that anyone in any shape, form, or fashion should know that you have it on you at all. So,
correct.
Okay.
Correct. Because you can get jammed up for that. Because the thing is, nobody's supposed to know that you have it. That's why it's called concealed.
Concealed.
You got people, walking in the stores, and I'd be like shaking my head, like, "Are you serious, dude? You're gonna get the wrong cop that's gonna break your balls." It says, "Listen, are you in law enforcement?" "No, I'm not." "Oh, why? Do you have a pistol?" "Well, why?" "Yeah, can I see your pistol permit?" "Sure." "Well, did you see this word here says concealed? That means you're not supposed to see it. So why are we seeing you got on a fitted shirt or a tight shirt and you can see the full print of your sidearm? Not only that, you're bringing attention to yourself. You're bringing attention to yourself.
Can someone go to jail? Like if you run into the wrong cop, you do have the license, you try to cover it, but it's noticeable. Is that something that you could get arrested for?
No. You can't get arrested for it. However, if the police want to be a Yahoo, they can file a complaint against you and then have your gun taken from you. Now you have to appear back in front of the judge explaining why are you displaying your firearm. Even though it's not over your shirt, you can see it, but it's classified as non-concealed now because I can see it. So yeah, if you get the wrong one, they can call it in, and then your local sheriff's department will take your sidearm until you appear in front of the judge. And now you got to explain to the judge why is your weapon being displayed.
Okay. Now I want to pivot back to the classes real quick. But before I do that, I know we spoke about New York a little bit. We spoke about Pennsylvania a little bit.
Yeah.
What about New Jersey? Do you have any information for the New Jersey pistol owner or someone that is trying to apply? Do you know the laws for that?
Yeah, so Jersey just changed their law for residents to carry. Jersey was way stronger than us. Under no circumstances, if you wasn't in law enforcement, were you able to carry a sidearm. They just changed that. Just changed it. If you wasn't in law enforcement, there was no such thing as a pistol permit for residents. No, not whatsoever. They just changed it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So now it's a bit of it's not a major process anymore, but you can apply for your pistol permit in the state of New Jersey now. I know quite a few people who have their weapon, but it's weird in New Jersey because you have to get it's called a purchase permit first. So a lot of people get the wrong. Yeah, it's very weird. So you have to get approved for a purchase permit first to purchase a firearm.
Wow.
Then
that's New Jersey. Okay.
Then you have to get a permit to carry the firearm. So you can get a permit, you can get a purchase permit, you can purchase it, and take it home, but you can't do nothing else with it.
Oh, okay.
You do nothing else with it. So you have to go for both. You get the purchase permit, and then from the purchase permit, then you get the carry permit. You cannot open carry. Cannot open carry in the state of New Jersey.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the your classes that you offer at your business, Upscale. What do a person have to go through? Like, what are the steps that an individual needs to do to be able to take the class? Is there anything that has to be done?
Which classes are you referring to?
The pistol permit class, so that they can apply for their license to be able to.
So the first thing you want to do is you want to you can go to your local government center. I think it's like $10, $12, $15 to get your application. Okay. While you're getting your application, your next step is you can't submit your application until you take the 18-hour course. Once you get your certificate for that, you need to get 4 signatures, people that are going to respond back. Don't put somebody down there, and then when your local sheriff's department sends them a letter, they don't answer because it's going to hold up your application.
That means don't be getting the irresponsible people who don't be opening their mail.
Right. Because you're like, yo, you ain't sending your thing in. What happened, man? Oh, I didn't get it yet. I didn't check my mail. All that nonsense stuff. So make sure you get quality people. They're going to send them a letter, and then they're going to ask some things about you. Are you a wacko? Are you nuts? Are you fit to carry a fire? Seriously, they ask you crazy questions.
There's a lot of them out there.
Right. So then what they do is they submit that back. Then you have to go get fingerprinted. And then when you go fingerprinted, you submit your application back, and then you wait to be called. Now, some parts of Orange County, you meet the sheriff. Some parts of you meet the judge. Okay, so if you meet the judge, same thing, you meet the sheriff in person. Why? Blah, blah, blah. They run an extensive background check on you. Now, there's some people, there's a new law that is out. So I'll talk about that in a second. So after you get your 4 references, you get your 18-hour course, you get your fingerprints, and then you submit it. Then you wait to be called. You'll get a letter in the mail. Once you know that your application is in progress, is when you hear the 4 people that you put down say, hey, I got your letter, I sent it back. Hey, I got your letter, I sent it back. Make sure all 4 of them are in. Then you're on that list to be called. If you call to a judge, the judge will call you in. I tell people make sure not saying that it's a reason to, but you want to give a good reason why they should give it to you. Even though you have a right to bear arms, you have a right, but just read between the lines, okay? Put down a good reason why you should. A lot of the big reasons is you want to get into armed security, you want to have your own business, you carry cash. There's multiple reasons that you can. I tell people, be careful on saying, I want for protection, I want for this, hunting, I want for this, because sometimes what happens, the judge feels a little, thing not too comfortable about it. He's not going to give you a full carry. He's going to give you a restricted. So which means that you're restricted to hunting, to the range, and to your home. That's it. You cannot full carry. And then after about 6 months or maybe a year, you can reapply for a full carry.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of them will say, well, you're not ready for that yet. So you like to go hunting? Okay, granted. You want something for your home? Okay, granted. You want something to go to the range? Okay, granted. And that's all you can do with it. You cannot walk around 24 hours a day with it. You only can take your sidearm out of your residence if you go into those areas that is on your permit that you're restricted to go to.
Okay. So would that be like, let's say, because my next question was going to be, what are some of the common mistakes that some people make when they're applying for the right to carry with no restrictions? Are there any others besides that, or is that the main one?
Well, the thing is the reason why do you want a permit? What do you want a permit for? A lot of people say, well, I want it for protection. Okay. I'm not going to say any name, but you get some judges that say, okay, do you work? Yeah. Do you pay taxes? Yes. Do you know your local police number? Yes. Well, if you need protection, you pay as everybody says, you pay your salary, call them up. They'll help you out.
You pay your taxes. Call 911.
Yeah, call 911. They'll help you out. The thing is, people. The reason why they kind of be strict on it because some people apply for the wrong reasons. You apply because you want to get a gun. You apply because you want to showboat. Because you got a gat. You know what I'm saying? You got your gun. But you got to understand. You could get in hell of a lot of trouble. I see some people as soon as they get it, they showing off, showing their friends. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be saying, "Look what I bought. Look what I got." You're not supposed to do that. Again, no one's supposed to know that you have a sidearm.
Got you. Okay. Now to be eligible, in the requirements, I know you probably touched on it a little bit, but I do want to make sure that I still ask it anyway. To be eligible, because now we want to get into somebody's background and things that's holding people back. And I know you have some new information for us for that as well. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the requirements and the eligibility. Boy, I can't talk. For people to be able to apply for it and get it.
Right. Okay. So there's a new law that came out. I've helped quite a few people with it. It's called the Clean Slate Act. Kathy, our governor signed off on it. It's in effect. So if you have a non-violent felony, and you have not been in trouble within 10 years, you can get your felony expunged, wiped off your record, not sealed, expunged off your record.
Wow. Now,
go ahead.
Is this only when you're applying for a permit? Let's say even after you have it, or anybody, even if they're not applying, does that still apply, or is it only specifically for this?
Apply for anyone. A job, government job, anywhere. It's something that you want to clean and make sure you got a clean record again.
I got something else to say.
Sure.
I'm not sure if this applies because things did change. But I do want to tell you about my experience.
Okay.
After the class, after I did the fingerprinting, going up to the sheriff's office, they run a background check. Now, mind you, I was a young juvenile kid, and juvenile lockups and things like that, group homes, and so I went through a lot of stuff at my very young age, though.
Right.
It was all when I was really young, but still, one of the things that I found that happened was when they did the background check. My dates, I was trying to remember everything because I was told from somebody else that they was denied their permit because they did not address or put down on the form something that happened because they forgot, right? So what happened with me is, as I'm trying to get everything together, you got to remember this is years ago. I'm talking, I was underage. That's why I was in juvenile, right? So I'm like, I can't remember. So long story short, I ended up getting somebody and telling them, hey, this date doesn't match this on my record, because I went and I forgot what I had to do. I had to go to the police department where they held the records and get a copy of that. So when I was like, this doesn't match this, and these dates are not adding up, somebody told me, well, we do a deeper search beyond that. So I said, what do you mean? I said, well, I did my fingerprints and they do a background check. They said, no, there's another search.
Yes.
Now, I had to physically pay for that one to get done.
Did you get the FBI one?
Yes.
Yes.
Whichever, and I don't know if that's what it's called, but I know it was definitely deeper than the one that everyone thinks that they're getting. No, I'm just saying, because
right, you're right.
So I said, well, wait a minute. If I don't want to mess this up, you know what I mean? I want to be honest about every single thing. I don't want to forget nothing. And the fact that I forget something, it comes back and now it's held against me. Right. So, okay, I'll pay for it so I can make these dates add up so I could remember, because I don't remember everything. So then that's how I was able to get everything. I had to write a letter for each thing that came up, explaining what happened, etc. So let me make sure I got my train of thought here. So for somebody who is in that situation, because you mentioned something, now I got to bring it back. I'm sorry.
I know where you're going. I know where you're going. I'm going to clear it up right now.
Okay, go ahead. Since you know where I'm going, that was my experience. That can happen to someone else. So take me where I'm trying to go.
Okay, so one of the key factors is, let's say you had a prior, okay, whatever it is. When they ask you something, tell the truth, because they're gonna find out. So that's the key way. It doesn't matter what it is. Tell the truth. Okay. So when they run a background, they don't just run a state background. They ask you, they want all of your convictions, all of your arrests. So now there's two ways to do that. One is, if you remember all the courts, or 1, 2, 3, wherever courts that you went to, wherever you're arrested at, this disposition, you can go to that court and get a copy of your disposition, so you know exactly the arrest number, the arrest, the offense, the sentencing, whatever you want. If you don't remember, the easiest way is get a copy of your criminal history through FBI.gov.
There we go.
That is very simple, because on your FBI record, everything is on there. If you got arrested, if you was 4 years old, it's on there.
So when we talk about expunge, then make the two connect. If the FBI has that, it's still there. They can pull it up. But we say it's expunged. How are we connecting those two?
Okay, so good question. I like that. That's very good. So one of the key factors is your record is expunged, but any law enforcement official, government agency will be able to see it. They just cannot use it against you.
Oh, okay.
They'll be able to see it. They'll be able to see it, but an employer or any type of employer or anything like that will not be able to see it. If you apply for some type of governmental job, they will be able to see it, but they cannot use it against you. They cannot even ask you about it because it's classified as expunged.
Okay.
So
that was the thing.
It disappears, but it doesn't 100% disappear.
Got you. Okay.
So if you apply for a police department, a corrections job, a governmental job, they will be able to see it.
Okay, so let me just make sure. Hold on a second. I'm trying to scroll up because I know there was some people who asked questions. Some people ask questions anonymously. So I do want to let me get these out the way, because I know that they're probably waiting. I still have other questions, but I do want to know for the people who so this first person is asking anonymously. They said, is it true that you if you have a marijuana card, you cannot get a gun license?
That is correct.
Okay. That
is correct. If you have, and they will check, and if you lie on your application, you will never get a pistol permit.
That's good to know. Okay. Wow.
Don't lie. If you got a card, because what they're saying is, and here's the thing really quick that people don't understand, okay? People get the wrong impression. Marijuana is not illegal in the state of New York. It's only legal in your residence.
Oh.
You cannot smoke a blunt and then get in a car and drive.
Well, you shouldn't be anyway. That's dangerous.
Yeah, but people get this thing. Oh, marijuana's legal. I can puff, get the car and chill because it's legal. Wrong. It's legal in your residence because you're not driving.
Okay.
People gonna stop. What do you mean? Why you picking up the car? Why blah blah blah? Listen, blah blah. You gotta remember, it's just like drinking. If you're smoking too much weed, you're gonna get arrested for driving while impaired. Very simple.
You're under the influence. To tell you the truth, even if you take prescription medications and stuff, if you say, "Well, I took something," you could get in trouble for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Absolutely.
Even though it's your medication, but it says it on the bottle: "Do not drive."
Operate. Well, yeah, that's right. Any type of machine.
Man, stand on the city when I'm working in the city, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is not what you mean. What you mean, Cap? This is legal. I said it's not legal. You better look it up, bro. You better look it up. It's not. You cannot be walking around and this and that. Like, people think that they can go to work smell like weed because they think it is legal. Your employee can say to you, "See you later."
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're clearing that up because listen, it's kind of crazy out here. Everybody think when they hear the word legal that they could just run out here and just do whatever. And yeah. So I hope that I'm making sure I share this with a lot of people out there.
One of the biggest things is why do you remember in the beginning, maybe about I'll say about 6 months ago, how many dispensaries was open?
A lot
crazy,
of them.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
All right, ready? Within the past 3 months, how many got shut down?
A lot.
A lot, because they wasn't licensed. They wasn't licensed.
Okay. All right.
It was not licensed. People going there buying all this. Can I get this, that? Can I get the skunk? Can I get the Buddha blast? Can I get the kush and the this and the that?
He said the kush. You sure can.
You know.
Take your give.
Yeah, exactly. And they think they can go in these places and then smoke and then get in the car and go home. No, you can't. You're under the influence.
Yes, absolutely. So now look, y'all can't. There's no excuses. You cannot do it. Know the law. That's why it's so important to really, know and understand the law. Because when you don't, then you put yourself in predicaments and situations where you're fighting for something that is wrong, and you don't even know that because you actually think that what you're doing is right. So
you thought it was right. You thought wrong.
Exactly. Hey guys, if you want to sponsor our show or place an ad on our podcast, please contact us at fromthegroundupproductions@gmail.com, or you could give us a call at 845-288-2989. Let's collab and reach our audience together. So my next question is from, you probably touched this, but I'm just going to ask already. It's from Saigon. Brian Caranoy. He says, I have 2 valid gun charges. 2, but I was young. Is it possible for me to get he wants to know if he could get his pistol permit. He has 2 when he was young, 2, and they were valid charges, gun charges.
No.
Oh. Look, I said,
because of the factor now, they're violent charges, even though they're YOs. Now, question that if you can get back to him is, were these violent crimes sealed?
Okay, let me say this to you because as I was promoting this show, there was someone, and I don't have a problem with it, but I didn't know where they were coming from with it. But this is what the advice that was given to him on my post when I made a statement that I was going to be having you on the show. They said, feel free to apply for a certificate of relief of disability in order to restore your rights back.
That is correct. Certificate of relief for your rights to restore, not on a violent case. Okay.
See why we got the professionals here on From the Ground Up? They better act like.
Here's the thing. Not trying to be funny for whoever gave the advice, because one thing I must say, guys, I wouldn't tell them to not try, because I'll tell you in a minute some things I've done for some people and it ended up working. But what you got to remember, if you want to go law wise, an example, somebody takes a gun and kills somebody, gets 15 years because it was accidental. Violent felony. They come out, they complete parole. Okay, now they shot somebody. Come out and plead parole. So you're saying that they could get a certificate of relief and get their storage rights restored and then go apply for a pistol? Not happening. Not happening.
Okay.
Your rights are you got certain rights are restored. Like you have a right to vote. You have a right to vote. But with this new Clean Slate Act, there's certain felonies that cannot be expunged. And violent felonies is number 1. Murder, rape, assault in first, assault in the second. Those are all violent felonies. Those are things that cannot be expunged.
Okay. Before I move on to the next question, I want to just stay here for 1 second.
Sure.
For the ones who are not valid, what are the steps to be able to get it expunged? Where do they go and how, like, what are the steps in it?
Okay, so I tell a lot of people, because I get a lot of phone calls and advice. I'm not an attorney. I just know the laws. I know the new law, this or that, and I give advice. I tell people, if you have priors, whether it's a misdemeanor or anything, always apply for a certificate of relief. So what a certificate of relief is, and I tell people, and I'm not knocking any attorney, but you can do this yourself. You don't need to pay an attorney $5,000 to apply for a certificate. You can do it yourself. You print the application offline. Okay. If you're unsure about the arrest date and this and that, but you know the court, you go to the court or the court where you were convicted at. Okay. Ask them for a copy of your disposition. The disposition will have everything when you got originally arrested for, what was your sentencing, and what it was plead down to. You will add that on to your certificate of relief. Okay. And you submit it to the courts. Okay. Two options. Sometime the judge may want to see you and ask you what you've been up to in the past, this. Or if when they run the back and see that you haven't been in trouble 10, 12, 13 years, they won't even bother have you come to court. The judge will sign off on it. A copy goes to New York State Division of Criminal Justice. The other copy gets filed with the court, and the other copy goes to you, signed by the judge.
Okay. All right.
Now, the Clean Slate Act. Okay. All you got to do is go onto the website, cleanslateact.gov, and it gives you the prompts, everything, the things what you need to do it. Some people, when it kicked in, anybody that had anything over 10 years will automatically be taken off their record. Some people, because it's still new, some people may have to file to have it expunged, and then you won't even have to appear in front of a judge, because once they run you and see that that felony has been over 10 years, it would automatically be taken off your record.
Okay.
I think it's a good thing. Clean Slate Act, I really think it's a good thing, because you got a lot of people that made mistakes that really clean yourself up, and they should have a right to bear arms. They should have a right to do certain things. I know people that had prior felony, they were nonviolent, that are COs. They got the certificate of relief when they went to meet with their investigator. Yep, I was young. I wanted to buy sneakers and this, and I sold a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I was young, but I cleaned up. Listen, you're gonna knock the guy because he sold some marijuana?
Right, exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Good, great information.
Yeah.
I have another anonymous one. This is still tied to it.
Yeah.
I mean, this might still apply. You might have already answered it.
I'll answer it.
If your name ends up on the next list, the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS.
Yep.
Sorry, NICS list. Yeah, NICS list. Can you, or how do you get it off?
You can't. That's a national database. It's not coming up. And the only people who have access to that is a law enforcement.
So can this person do the clean slate, or it doesn't apply for them?
Depends on what his background is. What does he have?
Okay.
Yeah. If it's a nonviolent crime, he can get it easily. If it's a felony, he can get it as long as it's not a nonviolent felony. It has to be a nonviolent felony in order for him to get it.
A nonviolent. Okay. All right. Okay. Great. Oh, while I'm going down this list, tell people about your school. Give the name, give all that while I'm searching. That way we're not just sitting here.
All right. So I own Upscale Security School, and the website is www.upscalesecurity.school. I'm located in Rock Hill, New York. You can get the numbers on the website. I teach the 8-hour, 16-hour, 8-hour annual. I'm waiting on my new license for the new 18-hour, which I should receive any day now. I teach avert active violence emergency response training. What that is active shooter trainings. I do a lot of stuff for that in schools, malls. That's a very, very, very good training because of all the shooters you've seen that's happening in schools nowadays. Teach first aid, CPR, AED, BLS, ALS training.
Well, explain what that is. Isn't that the
Yeah.
No, No, because somebody might don't know. You use the acronyms. They might not know.
So first aid, CPR, AED, and then BLS is basic life support. ALS is advanced life support, and I do blood-borne pathogen training. So I do that. Also, I teach the New York State 25-hour bail enforcement to become a bounty hunter. I also teach the New York State 40-hour enhanced homeland security training. That's a 40-hour course, stuff like that. So I got a lot of things on my belt, and I tell a lot of people, a lot of my students, a lot of people that's listening, any certification that you get, make sure it's classified as accredited. Okay, do not. So many scams out there that's going on. There's a guy that came to my class about 3 weeks ago, African guy. He was in a city and he came up. He says, I did my security license like 8 months ago. I never got it. I says, my friends, because I move up here, my friend says to come see you. I said, well, what do you got? Let me see what you got. So he had about 16 certifications. They were all prep. He had a fire guard prep. He had a 8 and 16. He had a weapons prep. He had a handcuff technique prep. He had this prep, that prep. And I says, how much did you pay for all of this? He says, $3,500.
Woo! What?
I looked at him and I said,
oh my God.
You want me to be honest with you, or you just want me to be sugarcoated? He goes, no, be honest. I says, out of all 15 certifications, probably 33 of them you can wipe your behind with it. They're no good. He goes, what are you talking about? I says, first of all, it's prep. Number one, who's going to accept the prep? Number two, New York State is one of the toughest places that if it's not accredited, a state training, federal training, they're not recognizing it. They're not recognizing it. So
you know what's so funny, because there's schools like that, college and different things. See, people go and they spend all that money.
So
it don't
you need this, you need this, you need that. Oh, we're gonna show you how to to get you prepped for the security class. What do you need to be prepped to take the security class? Just go take the security class.
Wow.
If you're gonna take handcuff technique, go take handcuff. You don't need prep. What are you prepping for? That's why you go take the class. That's why I tell people when you do a training, you spending money and stuff like that, make sure everything is classified as accredited. Because the state of New York don't recognize a lot of stuff. Because if it ain't from one of their instructors, they're not recognizing it.
Wow. Let's go back to the active shooting training. I think that is so important because like you said, sadly, it's becoming something that happens on a regular basis. Now, I know you can't go into full details, but when you're teaching that class, what are some of the things that you cover in that class, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. So one of the things I cover to people is knowing the mind of an active shooter. Most of the time on active shooters, and here's what's crazy about active shooters is that people that cause havoc, that cause to piss them off. Like you may have, like one of the training videos I have is of a guy who got upset because this football player started whatever with the girl that he liked. He was a geek, but we all know back in the basketball and football players are the ones that usually nice looking get the girls. You know, it's just a tradition.
They pull it
right. I like the guy on the football team, like the guy on the basketball team. He's cute, he's tall, blah, blah, whatever it is. But you also got the geeks that likes people that they never get any play whatsoever. So you get this person that likes that cheerleader, this and that, and then feel that this football player that can get any girl he wants gets her. Now he's upset. So the sad thing about it is that person that gets pissed off and everybody's laughing at him and things like that, he doesn't even go after the people that cause him pissed off. He goes after anybody that's in the way. That's what if you notice in active shooters, you don't see them saying the active shooter target Jim Johnson, or the active shooter target anybody in the way. And their mission is to cause as much havoc as possible. And then they do the cheap way out by take their own stuff out. So in the training, we teach you what to look for. Okay, you got to pay attention to that guy that says, you know what? All right, they want to F around. Okay, watch and see what happens. You got to report that.
Right.
Oh, you guys think it's effing funny? You really okay. You guys are gonna see. You're gonna see. You got to report that. Oh, he's talking crap. He ain't gonna do nothing. Wrong. You got to report it. You got to report
pay attention to keywords and key things they're saying that are like underlying threats there.
Yes. Because it's there. When they backtrack to the guy and they look at, oh yeah, I remember because Brian said, people keep messing with him, he's gonna blow up the school. We're like, oh, Brian, shut the hell up. No, you can't ignore that.
Right. Whew. Hey, it's scary, living in times that we live in now. Especially, the kids and the school. It's scary everywhere, no matter what. A kid or an adult, right. But it's when you're a parent, you have to worry about those things with sending your kid to school, wondering if they're going to make it home because of that, because of a fear of somebody coming in with a pistol or a gun or something like that. It's very, very scary. I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in your rights of owning a firearm. And stuff. The Second Amendment, sorry, we're raising the back, correcting me, so I get it right. I believe in that, but I also feel like there should be other measures that should happen in order to keep your kids safe. Some schools, right, they do not want the metal detectors because they don't want their schools to be like classified, or it's funding. It's a lot of different things of why they don't want it. But I think, as a parent, if it's going to keep them safe, if it's a step to do that, why not? What do you think about that?
So I understand what parents feel, because just think about it. You're bringing your kid to a school that has metal detectors, wands, you got to take your book bag out, you got to do this. But wait a minute, what happened to the fact of kids are supposed to be bringing a book bag to go to school to learn? It seems like there's no more of that. It seems like how many times we hear in the schools a 16-year-old, 15, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old is caught with a gun in their book bag. Okay, so what measure that we need to take to prevent that is, the sad part is, metal detectors warning people. So now here's this extra thing, instead of a kid just walking to the school to get ready to go to class on time. If it's a big school that has 15, 1,600 kids, it's going to take longer because everybody has to go through the metal detector now. And if it goes off, open up your book bag, open up to this, take your belt off, this, take everything out of your pockets. It's like going through the airport.
Right.
But that's because of the way things are. And if we don't, and again, we get a kid that's upset that a kid pissed him off, and his brother is some type of street gang, or his family, or he knows where the guns are in the house, and he knows he can get into the school easy, that's what's going to happen. Sad to say, but that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's sad. Like you said, like going to the airport. I never been one to complain. I know sometimes people are like, oh, we got to go through this. I got to take. No, I don't care. I'm not here to do anything wrong. So I don't mind you doing what you have to do to make sure everybody is safe. Yes. Sometimes people, they want to complain, but it's for the safety of everyone. Right. And I don't know. People, when I see people do that, I just be like, oh God, just let them do their job. Just
this is BS. Job. This is that. No, it ain't BS.
No.
They forgot. They forgot 6-7 years ago. What was the guy that we caught in the air? They called the shoe bomber. Do you want to remember that?
I do.
He had a bomb in his shoe on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't be. Oh, this is not necessary. Yes, it is necessary.
Absolutely. Yep. So we covered New York. Talk to me about the laws when you do have your license to carry. There's no restriction, but you're traveling with the weapon and you're going through different states.
Good one. Good one. So there is technically, you're not supposed to do that. Technically. Now, if you have to transport, you must separate your magazine from your sidearm, and it must be locked up. If you're transporting, your magazine either must be in the glove compartment, locked. Your sidearm must be in the trunk, locked in a lockbox. And if you're transporting, you're going through a state or whatever it is, you need to not stop anywhere.
What if you got to get gas? So you got to go to the bathroom.
Well, you got to go to get gas. You better make sure that your car is locked up tight. Go to the bathroom and get in your car and get out of there.
I got a question. Sorry, I got to ask, right?
No,
because these are good. So you do all of the right things. Magazine locked up, glove department, firearm in the trunk, lockbox, lock, car locked up, everything you said. Something ends up happening. Right? Something ends up happening where now you're in a position that you need to protect yourself. What do the person who owns the gun and have the right to have it, but they're traveling through, what do they do in a situation like that?
I like that question. Now, the question returned back to you is where?
Gas station.
Where? A different state?
Yes, a different state.
Okay, now in that state, are they licensed to carry?
No, let's say they're not.
There's nothing you can do. You will be arrested for criminal possession of a weapon in the 4th degree, a Class D felony.
So that means that, well, let me backtrack before I say that. A person should apply to get their license in different states. And if they do have it in that state, are they now free to protect themselves if they now have the license in that state?
Absolutely. You don't need to separate it either. So an example, New York, your permit for New York, you're allowed to carry in 12 other states without getting a permit for that state.
In New York, your permit in New York allows you to have it in 12 other states?
Carry in 12 other states.
Do you mind breaking those states down? I'm sorry.
All right. Now I'm gonna say off the top, I know it's North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not off the top of my head, but it's definitely 12. Now,
12, okay.
I always say to people, when you get New York, get Pennsylvania, because now Pennsylvania bumps you up from 12 to 32 states you can carry it.
Ooh. Right.
And when you get Utah, you can carry up to 42 states that reciprocates with Pennsylvania and Utah.
Are they hard to get, or are they easy because you already have them?
Easy peasy, as long as you have a pistol permit in the state that you're from.
Okay.
Like an example, you could go straight down 84 into PA, go to Holmesdale. You ever been to Holmesdale, PA?
I don't know. I mean, I've been, if I'm going through 84, I probably passed through.
Yeah. So Holmesdale, from where you live, where you live and reside at, Holmesdale, PA to you is about maybe 35, 40 minutes. You go in there, you put up an application, it's $6. Background check, $6.
That ain't nothing.
And you get your permit in a week.
So you don't have to go through any other chain?
No classes, no trainings, no nothing. Zip.
And is that the same with every other state that you can apply for? Utah, all those other states?
Utah, you don't need a training. Florida, you need to do a training, but there's some people up here that do the training that you're able to get the Utah and the Florida all together. You don't have to go to Florida.
Okay.
I tell people, it's an extra fee. It's not a lot of money. Extra fee. You got to get fingerprinted for Florida, but they have all of that stuff. But once you have New York, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Utah, you can carry in 42 states.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Got a few more questions. We almost at the end.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But this is great. This is great information. So now you have your license to carry, and where are the places that you should never bring your firearm, even though you have a license to carry?
Well, first places is you cannot carry any governmental building whatsoever. DMV, banks, schools, anything governmental, you're not allowed to carry. Okay. You're also not allowed to carry, and you got to pay attention to when you're walking into a store. If a store says you permit to have, even if you have a permit, you prevent firearms, you cannot go into that store with your firearm.
Okay.
You have some stores that says we welcome gun-toting owners. That means they want you to come in here. So with the new law, you got to be very careful. So if it's a store, you look at the front and it's, it doesn't say anything you can't carry, you can walk in and carry. But under no circumstances do you carry any casino, any governmental building, post office. I don't care if you're going in and mail a letter and come right back out. You're not allowed to have a firearm in any governmental building. Banks, schools, anything like that. Not allowed.
What about, the parks, like the government, like those type of parks?
What kind of
like
parks?
Like the Rockland Lake or, a Bear Mountain. Like, what would that be?
Well, Bear Mountain, those places like that, if it's not displayed, you can carry it.
Bronx Zoo,
if it's not displayed, that's not a governmental building. That's not a governmental facility. But if it's displayed, you can't carry it.
Okay.
So an example, like people need to understand, now things have changed. You can now apply for your New York City permit.
Oh.
Yeah, you can now apply for your New York City. That has changed. Now, the thing is, if you have a basic pistol permit, you only can carry anywhere upstate from Buffalo all the way down to Westchester County. You cannot carry in the 5 boroughs.
That's if you have a New York State only?
If you have a New York State pistol permit, you can carry anywhere in the state of New York except for the 5 boroughs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So let's just say you're going to go to Long Island. When you get to Westchester County, you have to dismantle your firearm.
Okay.
Put it in the glove compartment, put it in the trunk, whatever it is, and then drive through New York City. Once you get into Long Island, you can put your sidearm back on your hip. You can carry anywhere in Long Island. You just can't carry the 5 barrels.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, to get your permit in the 5 boroughs,
you have to have a reason. Again, business owners, if you're into armed security, somebody sponsors you, it's a little tough, but you can get it.
Okay. Now, there was something that I heard, and I'm not sure how accurate this is. I'm not sure if you would be able to answer it, but I heard that they was trying to say that even though if you carried your firearm, you had a license to do so, and you went to your neighbor's house, and your neighbor said, well, I don't want, no, was it I don't want, or you're not allowed to have it at your neighbor's house no matter what. And if you get caught with it, you can get in trouble. Does that rule apply for other people's homes and neighbors?
Well, again, what your neighbor's not going to display it, but if your neighbor knows that you are a gun-toting person, they can say to you, hey, listen, no firearms in my house, and you can't go in there. If they don't say anything, remember, it's concealed. So if you take off your jacket and you got on a nice loose fit shirt that cannot be concealed, nobody knows you have it, so that's fine.
Okay.
But if you take off your jacket or your shirt and it's displayed, you cannot walk around anybody's house with an open carry permit.
Gotcha. Okay. How should a person, a permit holder, handle any type of situations where they enter into where firearms are not allowed? Let's say they forgot or something happens. Is there any specific way that they should go about handling that situation?
Good question. Good question. The key point is you better remember, and again, if you carry your sidearm all the time, there's a possibility you will forget because you're not thinking. You may going to Walmart, or you may go into the bank just to cash a check really quick and not thinking.
Right.
Okay? Can you get arrested for it? You can. Can you get your gun taken from you? You can. Okay? But everything in the state of New York is case by case. Okay? Did you intend to do that? You know, they must show beyond reasonable doubt you intend to cause that crime. Okay, you know you're not supposed to, okay, but you know, some judges see that, hey, listen, okay, you never had your gun taken, you had your gun for 15 years, 10 years, this and that. Your Honor, I forgot. I seriously literally forgot. I ran into cash a check. I was not thinking. It happens. It happens. You know, again, but in the same token, if you are carrying professionally, no one is even going to know you have it.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not telling people that, hey, make sure they don't see it and go into the bank. I'm telling you not. But I'm just saying, if some reason it accidentally happened, nobody's never going to know you got it because you're not having it displayed.
Okay. All right. So this is not like a issue, like if you're having a problem. People who have their license already, what is the process of renewing them, like in the time frame of when they have to do it?
Okay, so everything has changed now. So when you renew, you're going to get a letter from the New York State Police. The State Police is in charge of firearms.
Oh.
Every 5 years you have to renew.
Every 5 years. Okay, did that just change? Like when?
Yeah, that changed this year.
This year, okay.
Yeah, so when you renew, you're going to get a letter from the state police.
Oh, gotcha.
And hey, just you're insuring everything, this, that, and the other. They're already going to run the background on you. And then when you go to your government center to get it renewed, you know, they will be ready to check. And you're going to send a letter. They're going to give you a letter. Have you been arrested? This, that, and the other. And you send it back to the state police, and then you just go get your new permit. That's it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so the sheriff's department is still doing the backgrounds, or the judge, but once they're done with it, it's all transferred over to the state police.
Got you. Okay. All right, cool. What is the best practice for storing your firearm? I know you spoke about in the car, but still just briefly go over it again. In your home and in your car. We already know about the proper way to conceal it. Let's talk about how it should be stored for everyone's safety in your home and also in your vehicle.
Okay. Key point in the house. I don't care if everybody in the house is wrong. Okay. Your sidearm must be in a locked. Okay. And not if you got kids, definitely should not be in the reach of a kid. Okay. The law is not trying to hear any mistakes. None. You cannot take your sidearm and put it under your pillow, put it under your mattress, put it in the nightstand next to you. None of that. It must be in a lockbox. Must be. Not an option. Okay? Must be put away and must be in a lockbox. Okay? If you're inside your car, you know, it's okay. As long as it's concealed, it's okay. You know, a lot of times, you know, sometime now, just so you know, people don't realize it now. When the local sheriffs, state police, whatever it is, when they run you, they can see everything now. They can see if you got a pistol. They can see if you
they can see all of your stuff. Okay.
Yep, security license. They can see all. So they approach you and say, "Hey, listen, hi, are you? They try it. Hey, listen, do you have anything on you that you may have that we should know about?" Yep, I have my sidearm. It's on my hip. Okay, good. Okay, very good. Okay, yep, it's on my hip and it's okay. They know. They already know. You start lying, then you got a problem. And you don't have to lie because they already know.
You know what? That's good. You know, it's funny you say that because I do remember, I can't remember where I heard that, but I did hear them saying, you know, that they're able to see stuff now. No, actually, it was somebody that I know that was the manager of the bridges in New York City. And it was like, when you go over there, they can see like if you didn't pay your child support and there's a warrant, they're going to be able to see that when you cross over those lines and go in the bridge.
Oh, right? Yeah, stuff changed, man.
Yes. So the lady that I know that she was managing the bridges, she was telling me about that. So I think that actually that's kind of a good thing because them knowing it takes away from, you know, we heard innocent people getting shot. getting shot because they're reaching for their firearm or they got a gun. Well, if you know that and you ran their information, I mean, this is only for the responsible ones who get their gun the right way, right? Not for the ones who don't care and just carry and breaking the law.
Right, because they feel like
responsible. Yes. So when we talk about that, I think that that's great that they're able to do that because that's also going to take away from a lot of other issues that could happen. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
I tell everybody, not even dealing with firearm. I just tell people one thing is very important. If you ever get stopped by a law enforcement official, okay, whether you're wrong or not, comply. Okay, get out of the situation. You cannot get stopped. What the F you stopped me for? You stopped me because I'm black, this and that, blah, 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 all of that. Listen, you got to remember, every time that anytime a law enforcement feel that their life is in jeopardy, you're going to lose every time. I don't care what it is. I just tell people, you're upset. I get it. Comply and get out of that situation. Get an attorney, go to court and deal with it. Do not argue with a law enforcement official on the road because you're going to lose. By you screaming and this and that and the other, now you're waving your hands, you're putting your hands down, you're putting your hands in your pocket. Now that went straight from, that now to defensive mode. Now, if you let me see your hand. Let me see your hands. You're not seeing this. You're not seeing that. Listen, that I'm going to say this one more time. Because now they're going into defense mode now because your hands are in your pocket or you ranting and raving, you putting your hands down. Let me see your hand. Put your hands on the steering wheel. Fuck you. I'm not doing that. Blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? And every time you're going to lose, it's going to become a bad situation. So I tell people, please, even if you wasn't speeding, if this and that, and I tell people there's so many little small laws that people don't understand. I give you an example that you can buy in a store and it's still illegal. An air freshener hanging from your rearview mirror is classified unobstructing of view.
Yeah.
You can get a ticket for it. Now, you're going to be pissed. I bought this from the freaking this and this. I understand, but it's obstructing of view. Can I see your license registration? That is something that'll get you pissed off. People don't understand also, tenant windows is illegal in the state of New York. The only tent that is allowed is if you have a doctor's note or if you have factory tent that came from the dealership when the car was freshly made, not that you bought from the dealership.
Right.
I bought this from the dealership like this. Yeah, that ain't gonna fly. Now with the new registration, if you got tinted windows on your car, you won't pass inspection now.
Oh, wow.
The new registration, the new machines now, the person that takes your inspection has to take a picture. You're on screen. You're on a screen doing somebody's inspection now. It ain't no more just nope. When you're doing, you got to load up. You have to be the licensed trainer. You have to be the licensed person to do inspections. And then the camera watches you while you do the inspection.
Wow.
Yep.
Ooh, well, let me just respond to a couple of things you said. First and foremost, I'm gonna make this very clear. I'm not saying this for the bad ones, right? Because there's good and bad. There's good people on the street. There's bad people on the street. There's good cops and there's also bad cops.
Correct.
I'm speaking for the cops that are good, because there are good police officers out there. A lot of times, especially, in the hood in certain areas, it's the relationship between the people and the police officers sometimes is not great, and it's not a trust issue. But as I got older, right, I started to learn that, you know what, like you said, don't be so aggressive, because if my husband or my kids was to apply to be a police officer, knowing how crazy it is in this world, I would be so frightened for them to take that job. Sometimes it's like you got to look at it from the other side to understand how that person may feel. So when you mention your hands up, this and that, hands up, you don't know how someone is going to react. There's been many people who have lost their lives that didn't do any of those things and still had to, still ended up getting killed. So again, we're talking about good and bad, but at the end of the day, like you said, you need to know the laws. You need to be respectful. There's no need to get crazy and to get upset and want to, like, for what? You're only going to make the situation worse. Exactly. And you might, listen, if you're respectful and nice and it's not that big of a deal, they might say, hey, listen, next time do the right thing. They might even let you go. Right. So you don't want to escalate a situation that is uncalled for. But I do, I do want to shout out, first of all, the good police officers out there. I don't think they get enough acknowledgement. And they are putting themselves on the line. There are good officers out there that are not bad. And we really have to bridge that gap between the people, the community, and the officers. Because at the end of the day, when something goes wrong, you are dialing 911. You are calling them. So
you want them to assist you.
Yes, we need them in certain situations. We do, So, like I said, I had good and bad encounters with officers. You know what I mean? So I understand.
We all have.
Yes, and another thing that I wanted to point out is that when we talk about knowing the law, when you said, don't leave the thing hanging, like the air freshener in your window, like something as small as that, which is true, because I sometimes still buy them and I go to put it there and I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. But I know, I'm like, this is illegal. You know what I mean? I'm like, they're not going to mess with me for this, but if they want to, they can. And am I wrong? Technically, yes, because I should have known better, because I did know better. And if I choose to make that conscious decision, then ultimately I'm the one that's really doing something wrong because I knew, right? So they go into court, right? And then they'll go back and forth about something, like you said, like, fighting for something that's wrong and expecting people to understand. No, you have to know and understand the law and abide by it. Simple as that. So I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's
small. People would be arguing. Are you effing kidding me? I just got my freaking car and freaking out. And the cop's like, calm down. Don't effing tell me to calm down. Now there goes the escalation.
Right.
Now we went from that to now. Now I'm going to tell you one more time. Now I'm going to actually step out of the car. Step out of it. Now we pissed off. Now we just, if you touch me, now we just went for this little small air freshener to now you're on the ground. Now this and that and the other. And, I just tell people, I understand, I get it, but just comply and get yourself out of the situation.
Right.
Deal with it later, because you're never gonna win on the road. You're never gonna win. Never.
Absolutely.
The cop is not going to say, okay, you're right. Okay, have a good, that's not going to happen. It's not gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. Hey, got to do the right thing. Do the right thing. And you got to educate yourself.
Yeah. So I'm trying to put it out there to everybody. I'm not saying it to you because I'm in that line of work. I'm saying it to you is because I see it.
Right.
And it's not that serious. Like you said, if you stop a little speeding and this tinted window, air freshener, cop pulls up to you, windows down, hands there. Hey, how you doing, state police? Yes, I can help you. The reason why I stopped is doing a little speeding there. Well, I'll tell you, of course you don't pay. Well, I didn't realize that. License registration, sure, no problem. Now the cop feels relaxed. Windows are down, you can see your hands, everything matches, this and that. How's your license? It's clean, everything on it. All right, just give me a second. I'm going to check it. All right, no problem. The cop sits back, whatever he's doing, he'll look at your license. Oh, this guy's clean. You know what? Very nice, very respectful. Give me an attitude. All right. Get out the thing. Hey, listen, give me a break, slow it down, listen to that, take it easy. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. You too. Not as soon as you get to the window, tinted windows down, you got the attitude looking at him. You're done. You're done. You're getting a ticket.
That's it. The ticket first for your attitude. Number one.
You're getting a ticket. That's it.
But no, again, that's why I say it's so important to build the relationship back between, or I don't know if there ever was one, right? But there has to be where the community and the people have a good relationship with the police officers, because now you're not looking at and judging someone just based off of how they look and saying, oh, they look like a threat. And you don't look at a cop just because they're dressed in all blue and say they got to be like the worst person on earth and they're coming to attack me. Like, like how do we, and I know that this doesn't have anything to do with the license itself, but I'm just saying, like, how do we fix that? How do we bridge the gap between, law enforcement, the police officers, and the people who are there to protect and serve, and for the people in the community, the good ones out there that is not bad and doing anything bad, but even they might have a look, but that doesn't mean that they're bad people,
Stereotyping, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed in many years, you hear people, I'm pretty sure I heard people say, yo, the cops is always effing with me, blah blah blah. Okay, but one thing that I have noticed, I've never hear of a hardworking person, 9 to 5, doing the right thing, say the police is always harassing them. It's always the person that's doing wrong, selling the drugs, this and the other, this and that. Oh, just today because you didn't sell and they stopped you, that's what it is? No. Okay, you don't hear a hardworking person, 9 to 5, doing the right thing, saying the cops is always stopping, because don't fly like that. It doesn't fly like that. You're on the radar because this is what you're known for. Your vehicle is known for going to this crack house or this bad street, that bad street. So technically, to us, you're up to no good. Now we have to find a probable cause to stop you. We get you with the stupidest stuff. Again, tinted windows, air freshener, license plate light out, right? Stupid stuff. You failed to yield. You blew this. People don't understand the risk on a stop sign. A stop sign means stop. Stop sign means stop, not yield. Why you stop me? You didn't stop at the stop sign. You yield.
Right.
But it's a probable cause to stop you because I know you got something in that car.
Look, I'm laughing because I'm like, you know what? I be yielding. Let me do full stop. I do not want to get in trouble. I be yielding. Gotta get it together, okay? Especially I'm a good person. Oh gosh, but no, this was great. I don't know if there's anything that I didn't ask you that you do want people to know, or information that you want to give to the people that could be helpful when it comes to owning a firearm, doing the right thing, trying to apply for one, etc.
The key point is, guys, everyone, hey, listen, again, you have a right to bear arms, okay? But just make sure you get a firearm for the right reason, okay? Don't think that you can get a firearm and somebody touch you, somebody do this, somebody do that, I'm going to shoot them. You're going to go to jail, okay? If somebody runs up on you and takes your chain and run away, you cannot shoot them. If once the threat is there and the threat is over, when they leave, you cannot chase the threat. You cannot shoot the threat because the threat is over and it's only materialistic things. Okay, I got my run up on me. I'm pulling out. I'm doing this. You're going to jail.
Okay.
Period. Okay. The people need to understand what the law is. The law is to protect you, but also remember, in the state of New York, there's no self-defense law. I tell people, if you get into a situation, you want to use the word "stop the threat," because if you use intent to cause self-defense. Okay, well, why did you do it? Well, because he robbed me, so blah, 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 so I shot him. Okay, now that tells you intent to shoot him. Why did you intend to shoot him? Because he robbed you, because he did that. Okay, you cannot do that because now you're showing the intent why you did it. But if you go, why did you do it? I did it to stop the threat. What was the threat? The threat came towards you. It sounds much better than self-defense, and then determine to find out it's not self-defense because the person may have robbed you, but they also fled and left. You can't go running after them, or you can't go shooting them in the back and shooting them in the arm and shooting them in the back. You can't do it. It's against the law. You just can't.
Got it. No, that's good, because someone would say, I can't do this, I can't do that. I'm in my own house. And then what is the purpose of me even being able to have a firearm, go through all of these steps to get one, and then I'm told everything that I can't do. So when am I able to do it, and when I'm doing it the right way and abiding by the laws?
Well, the key point to that, very good. I'm glad that's a good question you said. But the key point is that why are we looking for something to happen? That sounds like we're looking for something to happen. Oh, I can't use my gun if somebody break in my house. I can't use my gun if somebody pulls out on me and then runs away. I can't do this. It sounds like you're looking for a reason to use your firearm. And you should not want to do that, because once the investigation starts and determined that it sounds like that's what you was trying to do, the prosecutor is going to file a charge against you because you're looking to use it.
Right. Now that makes a lot of sense.
You're looking to use
Absolutely. So, but when you look at the person, let's say a person that's not, but still want to know if I have it, when is it the right probable cause to do so? And when it's only on. Okay, go ahead, because I don't.
No. When your back is against the wall, no other means, no other option. So your sidearm should be your last final option. Gotcha. And if that's what your last and final option is, do what you got to do within the means of the law, which is 2 to the chest. Do not be shooting anybody in the arm and the leg and the back. The leg and all that. Don't do that, because here's the thing: that person may go to jail for the crime they committed towards you, but it may be that one day that you're in ShopRite with your grandkids or your daughter, and you forgot your sidearm that day, and guess who's come walking down the corridor that remember you shooting them, but you don't remember shooting them. And guess what? You got nothing to defend yourself on. Think about it. He did his 2 years, and when I get out, this and that. When I see him, I'm a blah blah blah. Remember, he's probably a career criminal. He doesn't mind going back to jail, but he caught you on that off guard day that you're shopping, you with your kids, you with your whatever, and you don't have nothing to protect yourself with.
That's something to think about. That is something to think about. Good stuff there.
My thing is this, when you take, as they say it, when you take your sidearm out, you better use it. When you take it out, and that's that last resort, use it. Use it.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, listen, we're going to wrap this up. I really appreciate you coming on. This was amazing. Great information. Thank you so much for educating us. I hope that this is going to be, and I know it will be helpful to a lot of people, for the ones who put in their questions. I'm sure that if I didn't get or see any questions at this point, they'll put them in the comment section. Guys, if you have questions, put them in the comment section, and I'm sure that I will let you know if you don't see it that, hey, they got a question and he can answer it. But tell people about how they could sign up or apply to go to your security school, everything it offers and things like that.
So again, it's upscalesecurity.com. Telephone number is 845-401-2208. If you call me, I don't answer. You want a question on something? Remember, I'm not an attorney, but I do know a lot of things. You need help with certain things. We'll be able to work something out. I always tell people, first off, my advice that I give you, I'm not a counselor, to make it clear. I just know the law. And I love helping people, and I've helped many people doing a thing. And I tell people, you want to call me and talk to me about something, about cleaning up your record, about getting your license and stuff like that. Listen to me. Come with me seriously. Don't come with me asking questions. You're still out there doing the same stuff in the streets, because it's not going to fly. Okay. If you need help, you made mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. All right. You need help. Let's get you cleaned up. If you're serious about it, you cleaned up, you're done with the streets and everything like that. You want to do the right thing. Let's do it. You can do it. But if you think you're going to do that and still run the streets, it's not going to work. Not going to work.
All right, there we go. Well, listen, guys, make sure, like I said, you already heard it. He told y'all everything you need to know. So if you're interested, make sure you hit up DJ Shaka T, because that's what we know him as. Y'all also know he does parties. He does events. He always got the dope parties going on. So look out for that as well. So the name of the company is Upscale Security School.com. That's the website. Y'all could go in there, check out the website. It's at the bottom of the screen for anyone who is watching. And for those who are just listening, it's Upscale Security School.com. All right. I'm Lady Miz. That's DJ Shaka T. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. coming through, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll bring you back when the laws change. We need to keep you.
That's it. No problem. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Right. Thank you. Thanks. Make sure you check him out. Stay in touch. Check him out, his social media and things like that, so y'all can stay. You definitely want to stay on point and stay knowledgeable on all of the laws out there, so that you can do the right thing. Because it's really not about just getting it and now you got it. If you want to get it and you want to keep it and you don't want to be sitting in the jail with the criminal, then you definitely want to make sure that you're doing the right thing. So if you haven't already, make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure you share this. Put the comment in the comment section if you have questions, so that he can answer your questions and you could take one of his classes. Subscribe if you have not already subscribed, because we always try to not just do entertainment, but educate our viewers at the same time, so that we all remain on point. Again, I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace.
We hope you enjoyed your time with From the Ground Up Productions. We'll see you next time. Be sure to add our channel to your Roku list and listen to us on all streaming platforms.
From the ground up. From the ground up. There's only one way to go from here.